And within 2 weeks, less than a week, Dr. Gota, understanding it, he said, I repeated what you said, and now we see his video. This is one of the most important videos, if you are a man of science, we ever show. There are 2 videos. Have a look. Creator of motion without any material. On the top is a ball with gas. The string you see is just to hold the ball on top of the container. You will see that the liquid at the bottom of the picture in the container without anything. The minute you introduce the ball of gas on the top, starts dynamic rotation. This is how a space motion is created. At the moment, to create motion, we drive pumps, we drive generators, we drive all sorts of things. Now, for the first time, we see this. Can you start it from the beginning, please? You see, yes, please, start the video. You see the liquid is on a full motion. And you can control the speed of motion. That's the hand of Dr. Gota from Kenya. It's just a double core. The minute it's introduced, the rotation of the liquid starts. This liquid can go into thousands of RPM. All it is, this is one of the most important piece of videos will ever stay on the archives of Keshe Foundation, because it's the first step in understanding not only that the liquid is moving at the bottom, but all the fields within the bottle. And this is how the universe works. You can create field motion through just by mixture of gases. We explained, Dr. Gota will come on and explain what he's done and how he achieved this. Very simple, at a very few dollars. You see the material moving at the bottom. There is a second video of this. Rick, can we have the second video, which is a longer one, please?
Yes, I'll get that right away here.
And then we asked Dr. Gota to join us and explain how he did it and what it is. You all can test it. You can all do it and then understand. Now you have, with these balls, as I showed you last time with the orange balls, if you fill them the right way, in the right sequence, you can all start building a spaceship reactors without any material, without any motors. If you dictate it, then we teach you the control today, how we are working. The reason for the teaching today is for you to enlighten you that you will start joining us. The humanity has to go to a space, not a few. You see the rotation is at the bottom, very simple, on the top of the bottle, and the material starts rotating. In the bottom of this, Dr. Gota will explain to you the mixture of the materials is all the gases which you made up to now. There is no secret. But if you do it properly, you can see how you can use this. If you understand the motion of this, and then, for example, use it in health units, you can target, literally reduce cancer cells within minutes. This is the beauty of this. In time we explain. If you understand this process, you can create balls in the center on the top that you control with mind. I explain this again. We have one of our innovation center guys do testing this, how you control with your emotion and with your thoughts, that there is no need for system control. All these panels you see in aircraft system is through the window. So this is the beauty of it. We have our Chinese colleagues on the background. They said, you can come to China. I said, when I come, I'll come that they never know. I don't need no visa because we're one nation. And when you're one nation, you don't need a visa to go from one place to another. And with this technology, within the next few weeks, you will come to that point. I urge you to start developing, if you understand this, and I explain more today how to develop this technology into the spaceship program into sharing the knowledge. We all achieve the same thing at the same time, that we change the course of humanity. And this video is so important. You've seen by introduction of a small ping pong ball, you have created a mass to move in the air. So what it means, we don't need turbines. What it means, we don't need wheels. What it means, we don't need to burn fuel to create rotation. If you understand and make, for example, this liquid to rotate at 2 different speed layers or 3 layers, you create lift and motion. If you can do the same thing with the balls in a star formation, you do the same. In fact, this video is one of the most important breakthrough, showing what we thought 3 weeks ago, physically what was explained. In my teachings, those who listen very rapidly will arrive to that point, and we can go to the next step. The whole purpose of teaching today, the whole purpose I called for this presentation will change the course of humanity, is this little ball. You will understand very soon what it means. We add to it this morning, and we close the session. If you manage to achieve any further lifting, we see movement of items. You shift and displace liquid, record it, send it to the Keshe Foundation webmaster. We come back on Thursday, we play. If there is any major breakthrough from now on, we come on a daily basis for an hour, 2 hours, that we collectively start moving in one direction, and hopefully within a matter of short time, one of you will break through and create lift with a few dollars. We had to come this long way, but now we are there. We enjoy the beauty of the space technology. You can create the same kind of field in the bottle that it reaches the water to rotate on top of a city, to extract materials on top of a farm, to feed the vegetation what you like. In places of war, a very simple system on the bottom of a balloon would push the soldiers not to remember even why they're carrying guns for. We have changed the history of man. As I said 2 weeks ago, we started the development of spaceship technology, and this is the beginning of it. As I said, the generator has no meaning if you understand. By placing such a ball, and the teachings will teach, you will light, you will turn on, you do whatever you like on the point of wish and demand, and we are entering in the true world of space technology. Is Dr. Agota in the background that he can explain to us what is done?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Good morning, Doctor. Could you please explain to us, if you want, you can go on the camera and explain to us what you've done and how you achieved this, and then we go to the next step, please.
It was very easy. I just followed your teaching 2 weeks ago of how to create motion and then remove the scaffolding. I think it was the 121st Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And then I just tried. I put a ping pong ball inside another ball and put the nano-coated copper for holding, because I expected the motion would be actually in the ping pong ball, and I wanted to see it rotate and at least be able to hold it. So that is the top part of it. The bottom part, I put in a mixture of all my ganses. I actually included the actual guns and a bit of liquid plasma of the ganses. And the moment I put this on top, I felt some movement in my hands because I was holding the bottle. And then I looked at the liquid and it was rotating, and it was doing so very fast. That is simply all what I did.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gota. Could you explain? Sorry about that. Could you explain to us what is your next step now? Because I know you're developing different angles. We're trying to get you to move in a certain direction. if you want to show it to us on the camera.
Okay, yes, I'll show it. This is what I'm developing now.
You need to share your camera. You need to share your camera. You're on your, okay, that's okay. That's perfect.
Okay, inside these are all my ganses, inside this bucket. And then
Yeah.
I have 4 cores within cores. So the ping pong balls, 4 of them inside the bigger ones. And if you look very closely, you can see some movement. I have not achieved the very high speed, but I'm going to achieve it. It's building up, and I can tell with the fuse.
Okay, I have a small tip for you.
Okay.
If the way you saw the liquid was rotating and you put a core on the top and it caused the rotation.
Yes, sir.
Now increase the liquid at the bottom a little bit, put your cores on the liquid and keep the ball on the top, the same ball. And in that rotation, the field will start rotating the balls too. And you will start seeing the rotation of the 3 base cores with the top, and they will find in a way that the system will start moving or the water will start moving. Can you tell us what's inside of each of those balls, please? What gases you've used?
I have used liquid plasma.
Put the bucket down, please. It's too heavy to handle.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Nice to see your beautiful face.
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, what I did is...
you're getting your black hair. Are you still using the CO2?
Yeah, and my hair was entirely white. Now it's black. I'm getting younger. I'm getting younger by the day. So that's amazing. And all I have used is CO2 liquid plasma.
Thank you. Can you explain to us?
From the top and it's going downwards.
Down. You're becoming younger. I hope the maturity stays.
Oh yeah, I'm getting younger as days progress. So
can you explain to us what you use in this course, please?
Yes, in this course, the inside one, the inner cores, ping pong balls, I filled them with liquid plasma of all my ganses and amino acids. And then I scratched my skin and put it in there because when we start flying, I have to control with my brain. So that is what is inside the inner cores.
Can I interrupt to explain to you? The reason Dr. Water tells you that he scratched his head and put some oil in it, you got to understand, if you run and you start running these kind of systems, you need to be able to control the systems. There are 2 elements in these cores where you produce. In all the cores, because you are of the human race, you have to add the amino acid into it. So in all the cores where you put your liquid plasma, you put in amino acids from the top of your containers, a mixture of amino acids. Then in the center of a core, if you add your own amino acid, which comes from the fat of your skin or from your blood, if you make the GANs of it, then the reactor is controlled by you. You have a connection to the center. You do not put your own amino acid in the outer core because you do most of for a time being, the control in the center. So you dictate the speed of the rotation, you speed the amount of the flow. Then this way, you will understand that you start controlling the distance of the ship, the gap, the gravitation, and everything else. And in the coming hours, I teach you a lot. You will learn a lot from this teaching today. So, Dr. Gota, please carry on. And as knowledge is needed, I add to you in the middle. Please, what do you explain?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. The outer cores, because I have 3 balls, I put in CO2 ganses in the outer cores, 3 of them. And the last one, the fourth one, I put in CH3 gases. And then the bucket is full of a mixture of all my gases at the bottom, and there are liquid plasmas on top. That is the mixture that you see, the liquid. And that's all I have done. Immediately when I put in the balls, they start arranging themselves in a star formation. And I'm waiting. There is a lot of, sometimes I see the water shaking, the water moving a little bit, and it's building forces now. I'm expecting it to speed up.
Let me add to the knowledge. In this process, when you put the ping pong balls, the set, next to each other, you create, if you remember when we thought with the magnets, when you form ring magnets, they adjust and they fix their position. So we don't expect a motion, but we expect positioning. In this buckets, when you put your cores in the liquid, we don't expect to see rotation. We don't expect to see huge movement because they have positioned themselves, they have locked to themselves, and sometimes when one liquid loses a little bit of its fields to its environment or receives from the other, then it moves slightly. So we don't expect huge movement in these buckets. We just look for a fixed positioning. In the future, the scientists of what we call present chemistry, what we call plasma chemistry or plasma physics, will replicate the condition of neutrons, the condition of different elements like mixing a hydrogen with oxygen, and see it physically in these containers. Because now we can replicate every physical gravitational magnetic field. So we can see exactly, for example, how CO2 acts. How does a copper in a copper oxide with the oxygen will interact? What is the positioning? We take a lot of mystery out of the present physics. This, what Dr. Guata just showed us, is very important because for the first time, we take guesses and assumptions out of the equation. If you, for example, create gravitational magnetic field of one proton, and then you create gravitational magnetic field of one electron in another one, you see how electron positions itself, how it comes to be if you add two protons and two electrons, and then this literally throws the whole present world of physics and chemistry into the wall. Because everything at the moment in the present physics is considered as dots, that where, as we see with what Dr. Guata just showed us, it has a position. Then, even when we go into the medical section, when we say we absorb only we absorb oxygen in our lungs, you see, when you put something like 8 neutrons and 8 protons and the electrons, you have a volume like this, where you will have hydrogen about this size. And then, as I was explaining to some doctors, how do you tell me such a huge mass size goes through the lung, but the little ones and the smaller ones like nitrogen and carbon don't go through? And now this throws all the assumptions we made in the world of medicine into literally starting from the scratch, but at least knowing there is a ground for the PAC technology to build on. This picture, which Dr. Guata just showed us, is hugely, hugely important. Even the bucket. The simplicity of this technology is you see it, you understand it. This is very much, if you look at it, is like 4 elements of the amino acid. You got 4 balls. One carries CH3 and the others are CO2, near enough, carbon, oxygen, and the others. And in a few minutes, we show you another combination of this structure in a different way from Philippine Innovation Center. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Dr. Guata?
I would only like to thank you very much for sharing the knowledge globally. It is very important, and it's the very first time I have seen genuine giving. Thank you very much for all you are teaching.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for your knowledge and the beauty of sharing it so freely like the rest of us.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Gwat.
Thank
Now you understand. Thank you very much for your time. I wait to see what more you develop. Now, as I said, if you create a very small amount of water, as Dr. Gwata has done, repeat the same thing. To get confidence, just drop empty balls, ping pong balls on the water. See it rotating. It gives you, you understand how the balls will be positioning. Add a little bit of ganses slowly, slowly to each ball, and then you see the interaction. What actually happens while you have a rotation is very simple. Always said, understand what is going on. In this bottle, you have mixture of gases in the ball in the center. If we take the, where do I get my rubbers from? I need to rub off, and it doesn't allow me. I need to take these off, it doesn't allow. We go there. No? No, I want to the rubber. Is that the rubber? Okay, thank you very much. Stanley has come to be helped to us in a present time where we need to have things done. So you have the ball with the gas inside it. You have created another ball with another gas, you know, you don't like. We go to blue. You have another gas ball here, which is filled up with different gas. Here at the bottom, you have a mixture of gases which are sitting in the ball. But don't forget, you have a barrier separation, adding and subtracting from what's inside and what is in here. So the gas of, for example, hydrogen here is trying to interact with the gas of hydrogen here. So in doing so, but in being in the presence of, let's say, the gas of CO2 here, and there's a gas of CO2 here, in dynamism, in trying to control, they create a rotation in the water. This is what is just now, in this region here, what you have is a field of plasmas trying to catch up. Look, for example, in the medical systems. Now you have a dynamic system. Here you put the patient, you have the system, you have dynamic gas, bubbles, balls, and then you have a standard fix what it should be. In transformation of an energy one to another, they take the energy of a cancer cell with them, and then you find out there is no cancer. In this system, you replace the coils which you made with bubbles, fixed, filled with gas material. Very dynamic. You have a lung cancer, you change the balls to the tissue of the lung strength. You have a liver cancer, you change it. We've seen the doctors doing this. We've seen how doctors in South America and people in South Africa, they use different vegetations with different gases, and they create this, and they see the results. Now, instead of having coils, which is fixed, now change the coils with ping pong balls too, and the fitting to match all with the amino acid, your patient, and then a weaker transfer of energy fields from plasma will give you the transfer of the energy from the cancer in minutes. Literally, we are walking into hours, a patient walking with a tumor, walking off without a tumor. This is where it has to, if you understand the basic of this. But further on, you understand that by putting the ball on the top, and if you can rotate this as the speed you like, you will see mayhem in this water. Is Douglas in the background?
Yes, Mr.
Douglas, would you like to explain to us what happened when you tested this yesterday?
Yes, Mr. Kish. I was using the combination.
Can you speak a bit louder, please?
Yes, Mr. Kish. And my mic uncovered. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was using a combination similar to what the doctor had just described, and I was using a Dremel tool to speed the inner core. I had it fixed to a nano-coated rod where it would spin inside the outer core with a composite Gantz, and I used basically the same thing, blood instead of skin. In my instance, I pricked my finger, I got my DNA in there. When I got close to the plasma water in the container with the Dremel tool at a lower speed, I noticed the water start to move just a little bit. I didn't think much of it, but when I flipped it up to where it was at full speed, about 15,000 RPM, there was a vortex that created immediately that went straight to the bottom of the container, and in doing so, the 3 balls I had in there kind of slammed against the container, and the plasma liquid kind of exploded out of the container everywhere. The second time I did this, and you would thought I would have learned the first time, I thought that I would have a little more control, so I actually held the outer core with my left hand and had it to where it was fixed above the water about 2 inches instead of in the water this time. And the outer core this time leapt about an inch. I felt it push up out of the water, and as it did, the outer core exploded, and it went everywhere, about 15 feet across the room on 3 different walls. So yes, it's definitely a reaction there with a lot of force and power, lift and pull. If you have them at the right speed and the right position, as Mr. Kish was explaining. I've been playing around with this and moving it at different heights above the water, and I've seen the different reactions a couple of times. Now, I'm actually right now rebuilding my cores as we're speaking.
Would you like to go on camera and show us the one which you managed to float inside the ball? You posted some pictures.
Yes, Mr. Kish, I'd be more than glad to.
Would you like to show us the ball? Would you like to share your camera, please? Yes. Can you explain to us what happened there, please?
What had happened was I have this little core here. It's I've been playing. Some of the people have seen this before. It's a composite Gantz. It's a little motor here that runs off of a 3-volt rechargeable battery, and it can get some really high RPMs when it's charged, about 10,000 RPMs. And I had realized that the balls didn't float; that they went to the bottom, and I thought that was pretty strange. I thought that they should float. Maybe they were too heavy. So I was just playing around with this, and with it on the high level. This has 2 settings, and the second setting gets up close to 10,000 RPM in this particular composite here. And I was getting it near the ball, and I felt for the first time, I've heard many talk about being able to feel the fields. I sense the fields, but I haven't actually felt a field like a magnetic repulsion or an attraction, something that was a significant draw. This was the first time I felt something, and I thought, wow, it's kind of repelling. There's a reaction going on here. A few seconds later, the inner core here built up